Welcome to my channel HD Rare Coins 111, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare US coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1971 is one that captures the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters alike. This small coin, often overlooked in daily life, carries with it a rich history, an intriguing design, and in rare cases, a surprising value that can change someone's fortune. As we explore this coin today, we will dive into its background, its design details, the historical context in which it was struck, and why certain examples are worth far more than their face value. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, has long been a symbol of American pride and history. It was created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of an allegorical figure. By the time 1971 arrived, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for more than 6 decades, and it remained an essential part of American commerce. The year 1971 was a time of transition and change in the United States. With the Vietnam War ongoing and major cultural shifts taking place across the nation, coins served not just as money but as tiny artifacts of history. The Lincoln cent was no exception. Struck in both Philadelphia and Denver mints, as well as in proof form at the San Francisco Mint, the 1971 penny represents a fascinating snapshot of its era. When you hold a 1971 penny in your hand, the first thing you notice is the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this image has endured as one of the most recognizable designs in all of numismatics. The sharp features of Lincoln's face, the dignified gaze, and the sense of solemnity in his expression remind us of the great leader who preserved the Union during its most challenging time. The composition of the 1971 penny was the same as it had been since 1909, a bronze alloy made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This high copper content gave the coin its rich reddish tone when new, although many examples today have darkened over time due to circulation. Interestingly, just a decade later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch to a copper-plated zinc composition to save on costs. That makes the 1971 penny one of the later issues still containing significant amounts of real copper. While billions of Lincoln cents were struck in 1971, not all of them are created equal. For the average circulated example, the value remains just 1 cent, but rare varieties, errors, and high-grade coins can be worth astonishing amounts of money. Collectors pay close attention to details such as doubling in the lettering, mint marks, and the sharpness of the strike. Perhaps the most famous variety from 1971 is the 1971 double die obverse. On this rare era coin, the doubling is most visible on the inscriptions, particularly in the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. This striking doubling occurred during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin was improperly prepared. For collectors, spotting one of these coins is like uncovering buried treasure. Beyond double dies, collectors also look for coins with unusual mint marks. In 1971, pennies were struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, in Denver with a D, and in San Francisco with an S. Proof coins with the S mint mark are especially sought after if they are in pristine condition. A high-grade proof penny can stand out as a centerpiece in any coin collection. The thrill of searching through pocket change or old coin jars in hopes of finding a rare 1971 penny has inspired countless collectors. For many, it begins as a hobby, but the discovery of a valuable coin can spark a lifelong passion for numismatics. That is the beauty of coins. They are not only tiny works of art but also potential treasures hiding in plain sight. The Lincoln cent holds a special place in the hearts of Americans because it connects the everyday person to history. Every time you hold a penny, you are touching a piece of the past. In 1971, someone may have used that same coin to buy a soda, pay for bus fare, or gift change at a corner store. Today, decades later, that very penny might be sitting in a collector's case, admired not just for its monetary worth but for its journey through time. Condition plays a huge role in determining the value of any coin, and the 1971 penny is no exception. Coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, showing no signs of wear, command the highest prices. These coins often come from original mint rolls or proof sets that were carefully saved by collectors when they were first issued. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC provide official certifications of a coin's condition, using a scale from 1 to 70. A 1971 penny graded near the top of this scale can be worth far more than one in average circulation. Collectors rely on these grades to assess rarity and value accurately. The story of the 1971 penny also highlights how small minting variations can lead to huge differences in value. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance might, under magnification, reveal a doubling error or a rare die variety. This element of surprise keeps collectors constantly searching, hoping to stumble upon one of these hidden gems. It's also worth mentioning the role of proof coins from 1971. These coins were specially struck for collectors using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish. The San Francisco Mint produced these proofs, and they remain some of the most visually stunning examples of the Lincoln penny. In flawless condition, they can command strong prices on the collector market. The market for 1971 pennies has grown steadily as more people discover the joys of coin collecting. Online auctions, coin shows, and private sales provide avenues for buyers and sellers to connect, and the competition for rare high-grade examples can be intense. Collectors know that when demand meets rarity, prices can soar to extraordinary levels. The 1971 penny exemplifies this perfectly. While most are worth face value, certain rare versions have fetched eye-popping sums at auction. Stories of these finds fuel the imaginations of collectors young and old. The design itself adds to the enduring appeal of the Lincoln penny. Both Brenner's portrait of Lincoln and Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design are iconic, representing American ideals of leadership, freedom, and democracy. Holding a 1971 penny is like holding a reminder of the nation's heritage in miniature form. The fact that such a small coin can hold such immense value in rare cases speaks volumes about the passion of collectors and the unpredictability of numismatics. Every coin has a story, and every year of mintage carries with it the potential for rare discoveries. The 1971 penny continues to capture attention decades after it was first struck. When you imagine someone discovering a rare 1971 double-die penny in their pocket change, it's easy to see why the hobby is so thrilling. The coin may have passed through countless hands, traveled across states, and been used in everyday purchases, only to one day reveal its hidden rarity. Searching through coins, studying the tiny details, and learning about minting history all combine to make numismatics an endlessly fascinating pursuit. The 1971 penny is a shining example of how this hobby blends history, art, and the thrill of discovery. The story of the Lincoln cent is one of continuity and tradition. For more than a century, it has remained a constant presence in American currency. The 1971 issue fits into this grand timeline, carrying forward the legacy of Lincoln's image and the ideals he represents. In the broader world of coin collecting, the Lincoln penny holds a special place because it is both accessible and profound. Anyone can start with pennies, yet within those small coins lies a universe of history, rarity, and potential wealth. The 1971 penny is a perfect example of this balance. Collectors know that values can rise over time, especially as high-grade coins become scarcer and demand continues to grow. A penny saved today may one day prove to be a valuable treasure. That's why the 1971 penny, even if seemingly ordinary, should never be overlooked. As we conclude our journey through the story of the 1971 Lincoln penny, we are reminded that coins are far more than small pieces of metal. They are storytellers, time travelers, and sometimes, life changers. Among the countless billions of pennies out there, a rare few shine brighter than the rest. And in the world of numismatics, the highest known value ever paid for a rare 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny reached an astounding $145,000. Top 2. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1975 is one of those coins that often slips through the hands of millions of people without a second thought, yet it carries with it a fascinating story. A story of history, art, and unexpected value hidden within the smallest denomination of American currency. While most 1975 pennies are simply worth 1 cent, a rare few have turned out to be treasures worth an incredible fortune. The Lincoln cent itself has been an iconic part of U.S. coinage since 1909, when it was introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin was the first in American history to feature a real historical figure, and its popularity ensured that it remained in circulation for over a century. By 1975, the Lincoln penny was already a household fixture, passing through the hands of millions of Americans every day. The front of the 1975 penny displays the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1975, to the right. Some examples carry a tiny D mint mark for Denver or an S for San Francisco, while Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. Each tiny letter adds a layer of identity and rarity to the coin. On the reverse side, we find the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears design. The memorial is beautifully detailed, and with a magnifying glass, one can even see the small representation of Lincoln's statue seated inside. This reverse design was a reminder of America's respect for Lincoln's legacy, and remained in use until 2008. The 1975 penny was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, a formula that had been standard for decades. The high copper content gives the coin a rich reddish tone when freshly minted, though many examples today have taken on darker shades from circulation. Just a few years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch to copper-plated zinc pennies, making the 1975 issues among the last of the heavy copper coins. Billions of Lincoln cents were produced in 1975 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, along with proof coins at San Francisco. For this reason, most 1975 pennies are considered common. But coin collectors know that rarity doesn't always come from mintage numbers. It can also come from errors, varieties, and condition. One of the most exciting varieties tied to this year is the doubled die. While not as widely known as some other doubled dies from different years, a few 1975 pennies display doubling on the inscriptions or the date, creating a collectible treasure that sharp-eyed numismatists crave. Discovering one in change is a thrilling moment for any collector. Proof coins from San Francisco also draw attention from collectors. These special strikes were produced using polished dies and planchets, creating coins with sharp details and mirrored surfaces. When preserved carefully, these proof pennies can remain breathtakingly beautiful decades later, standing as miniature works of art. Condition, of course, is everything in coin collecting. While circulated 1975 pennies are usually worth just face value, those preserved in uncirculated condition can be worth significantly more. Coins graded at the top of the scale, showing no wear and retaining their original luster, often sell for surprising prices at auctions. The grading system, ranging from 1 to 70, helps collectors and dealers agree on a coin's condition. A 1975 penny in the highest grades can fetch premiums far beyond its face value, and if it happens to be a rare error or variety, its value can soar even higher. For collectors, the thrill of examining a 1975 penny lies in the details. Looking closely at the lettering, the date, and the mint mark can reveal doubling, repunching, or other anomalies that transform an ordinary coin into a numismatic gem. This is why even the smallest coins are examined under magnification by those who know their secrets. The history of the time adds another layer of interest. In 1975, the United States was preparing to celebrate its bicentennial. Patriotic spirit was high, and the coins of this era were part of the everyday lives of people during a period of cultural change. Holding a penny from that year feels like holding a fragment of American history. The Lincoln cent remains beloved not only because of its design but also because of its accessibility. Anyone can begin a coin collection with pennies, and within those small coins, mysteries and treasures may be waiting. The 1975 penny is a perfect example of how an everyday object can hold extraordinary value under the right circumstances. Collectors and dealers alike are always on the lookout for exceptional examples. Auction houses occasionally feature rare high-grade 1975 pennies, and the competition among bidders can be intense. The stories of these auctions remind us that even a coin with a face value of 1 cent can command attention in the world of numismatics. The copper composition of the 1975 penny also adds to its appeal. With copper becoming more expensive over the years, older coins with high copper content have become sought after not just for collecting but also for their metal value. This further distinguishes the 1975 penny from its modern counterparts. Another aspect of collecting these coins lies in mint mark placement. While most 1975 pennies display normal placement, small shifts in the positioning of the D or S can be of great interest to collectors. Repunched mint marks are another variety that specialists hunt for in these coins. What makes the Lincoln penny so enduring is its combination of history, design, and availability. Nearly everyone has held one, and nearly everyone has a story connected to them. The 1975 penny, though common in general, represents a year where small mistakes and careful preservation turned certain examples into rare treasures. Finding a valuable 1975 penny in circulation today may be unlikely, but it is not impossible. Stories circulate of collectors discovering rare varieties in old jars of coins or inherited collections. The idea that a penny could be worth thousands adds an element of mystery and excitement to every search. For new collectors, the 1975 penny offers a great starting point. It teaches the importance of studying details, learning about mint marks, and understanding coin grading. It also shows that value is not always about rarity alone but also about condition and demand. The portrait of Lincoln on the obverse remains a powerful image. His leadership, wisdom, and courage during the Civil War continue to inspire Americans, and his presence on the penny is a reminder of those qualities. This makes every Lincoln cent, including the 1975 issue, more than just money, it's a small piece of American identity. The Lincoln Memorial reverse also holds symbolic weight. By featuring this landmark, the coin connects the everyday citizen with a national monument dedicated to honor one of the greatest leaders in history. Each time someone used a penny in 1975, they carried with them a tiny representation of American ideals. Collectors appreciate that even within common coins, small variations can lead to extraordinary discoveries. The 1975 penny embodies this lesson perfectly. Out of billions, only a rare few stand out, but those rare few can capture imaginations and command astonishing prices. When a collector holds a rare 1975 penny, they hold more than copper. They hold history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. The sense of wonder that comes from finding such a coin cannot be measured in dollars alone. It represents a journey through time and the magic of numismatics. Every year, coin collectors search through old change, proof sets, and coin rolls, hoping to discover something unusual. The possibility that a 1975 penny could be worth a fortune keeps that search alive. It's this possibility that fuels the hobby and makes it one of the most rewarding pastimes. Even though the Lincoln penny has changed over time, with new designs appearing in 2009 and beyond, the coins of the 1970s still resonate with collectors. They are part of a golden era of copper coinage, and the 1975 issues stand proudly among them. The true magic of coin collecting lies in the unexpected. A coin that looks ordinary to most can reveal itself to be extraordinary when examined by a knowledgeable eye. The 1975 Lincoln penny is proof of this truth. For the collector who discovers one of the rarest varieties or holds a top-grade example, the excitement is unforgettable. That penny, once passed around in everyday transactions, suddenly transforms into a remarkable piece of history and value, and at the peak of its rarity and condition, one very special 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been valued at an astonishing $125,000. Top 3. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1976 carries a special place in American coinage, not only for its design and history but also because it was minted during one of the most patriotic years in U.S. history. The nation was preparing to celebrate its bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of American independence, and though the penny itself did not receive a new commemorative design like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar did, it still played a vital role in capturing the spirit of the era. The story of the Lincoln cent goes back to 1909, when it was introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By the time 1976 arrived, the coin had already been circulating for nearly 7 decades, making it a familiar piece of American life. Generations of families had used the Lincoln penny for everyday purchases, and in that year of celebration, it continued its journey through countless hands. On the obverse side of the 1976 penny, we find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His calm yet powerful profile reminds us of his leadership during the nation's most difficult times. Above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," stretches across the top of the coin, while the word, "Liberty," appears to the left, and the date, 1976, sits prominently to the right. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, crafted by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959. This design not only honored Lincoln but also highlighted one of the most important monuments in the United States. If you look closely at the memorial on the coin, you can even make out a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln seated inside the structure, a detail that continues to fascinate collectors. The 1976 penny was struck with the same bronze composition used since the early 20th century, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper-rich composition gave the coins a distinct reddish-orange shine when new, although most circulated examples today have taken on a darker tone. This was one of the last eras of true copper cents before the mint switched to copper-plated zinc in 1982. Billions of Lincoln cents were minted in 1976 at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small D, and the San Francisco coins with an S were made as proofs for collectors. With such high mintages, one might think these coins are all common, but as collectors know, rarity often comes not from the numbers but from condition and minting anomalies. Among the most exciting varieties associated with 1976 pennies are doubled dies, which occur when the die itself was improperly prepared. On some examples, you can see noticeable doubling in the inscriptions or date, making these coins stand out dramatically to the trained eye. Such varieties are rare, but when found, they can bring a significant premium. The proof coins struck in San Francisco in 1976 are another point of interest. These were made specifically for collectors using highly polished dies and planchets, resulting in coins with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. When kept in pristine condition, these proofs remain breathtaking, offering a glimpse of the artistry of the U.S. Mint. Condition is one of the key factors in determining a coin's value. While the vast majority of 1976 pennies are worth only their face value, examples preserved in uncirculated condition with original luster can command much higher prices. Collectors especially prize coins graded at the top of the scale, where every detail remains as crisp as the day it was minted. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC carefully evaluate coins using a 70-point scale. A 1976 penny that reaches the highest levels of this scale can be worth far more than an ordinary example. These graded coins often become centerpieces in collections and are highly sought after by serious numismatists. The historical context of the year makes the 1976 penny even more interesting. It was the nation's bicentennial, and while the penny did not receive a special design, its production during this celebratory year ties it closely to one of America's most patriotic eras. Holding a penny from this year is like holding a small reminder of that nationwide celebration. For many collectors, the thrill lies in examining everyday coins for hidden treasures. A penny pulled from circulation could reveal doubling, a misaligned die, or a repunched mint mark, all of which transform an ordinary coin into something rare and valuable. The 1976 penny offers this excitement in abundance. The Lincoln cent itself holds a special place in American culture. More than just a coin, it symbolizes leadership, perseverance, and unity. The portrait of Lincoln is not only a reminder of his presidency but also a representation of the enduring values of the United States. Each 1976 penny carries that legacy forward, Collectors often enjoy searching through rolls of pennies looking for high-grade examples or varieties from this year. The process of searching teaches patience, attention to detail, and appreciation for the artistry of coins. For beginners, the 1976 penny provides a perfect introduction to the world of numismatics. Auctions have shown that certain examples of the 1976 penny, particularly those in exceptional condition or displaying rare errors, can bring eye-popping sums. Bidding wars sometimes erupt as collectors compete for the chance to own a piece of numismatic history from that patriotic year. The copper content itself adds value as well. With rising copper prices over the years, older pennies made primarily of copper have become desirable not only to collectors but also to those who appreciate the intrinsic metal value. The 1976 penny belongs to this increasingly appreciated category. Mint marks can also play an important role in a coin's collectability. While most examples are standard, repunched mint marks or unusual placement can create fascinating varieties that specialists hunt for. These small details often make a world of difference in rarity and value. The combination of history, artistry, and the possibility of hidden rarity makes the 1976 penny especially captivating. It teaches us that no coin should ever be overlooked, as treasures can often be hiding in plain sight. This penny is a perfect symbol of that truth. Imagine holding a penny that once passed through countless hands in 1976, a year filled with parades, fireworks, and national pride. Today, that same penny could be resting in a collection, admired not only for its design but also for the story it carries. The design of the coin itself continues to inspire admiration. Lincoln's portrait by Brenner is timeless, while Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial remains an intricate work of art. Together, they make the penny a miniature masterpiece of American coinage. Collectors know that even the smallest coin can hold big surprises. The 1976 penny serves as a reminder of the joys of discovery in numismatics. Each coin examined under magnification holds the promise of revealing something extraordinary. For those new to collecting, the 1976 penny demonstrates how condition, mint mark, and small varieties can affect value. It's a coin that both beginners and experts can appreciate, offering lessons and rewards for anyone willing to look closely. Even though billions were minted, the rarest 1976 pennies remain elusive. This rarity fuels excitement, as collectors search through old coin jars and inherited collections, hoping to stumble upon one of these treasures. Holding a 1976 penny connects us to history in a tangible way. It represents a year when Americans came together to celebrate their shared heritage, and the coin itself became part of that everyday celebration. The Lincoln penny has always been more than just money. It is a symbol, a piece of art, and sometimes a treasure waiting to be discovered. The 1976 issue embodies all of these qualities, making it one of the most interesting coins of its decade. Collectors often say that the thrill of coin collecting lies in the hunt, and the 1976 penny proves this to be true. Searching for rare varieties, high-grade examples, and unique errors keeps the hobby alive and exciting for people around the world. As time passes, coins from the 1970s continue to grow in popularity, with collectors appreciating both their history and their potential value. The 1976 penny, minted during a patriotic celebration, stands as a reminder of how coins are woven into the story of America. And at its most rare and valuable, the Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1976 has reached an astonishing worth of $120,000. Top 4. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1980 is one of those small pieces of history that seems ordinary at first glance but becomes extraordinary once you look closer. This tiny copper coin has been part of millions of people's lives, passed through countless hands, and spent on everyday items. Yet a rare few from this year have surprised collectors with stunning values that reach far beyond a single cent. The Lincoln penny itself has a long history stretching back to 1909, when it was introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln became the first real person ever to appear on a U.S. coin, and it quickly became one of the most beloved designs in American numismatics. By the time 1980 arrived, the penny had already been in circulation for more than 70 years, and Americans were well accustomed to seeing Lincoln's face in their daily lives. The penny was an essential part of commerce, carrying both sentimental and practical value to people across the nation. The obverse of the 1980 penny features Lincoln's familiar profile, facing to the right. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1980, to the right. Some coins bear the D mint mark for Denver or the S mint mark for San Francisco proofs, while Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark at all. Each mint mark tells part of the story of where and how the coin was struck. On the reverse, the design by Frank Gasparo shows the Lincoln Memorial in sharp detail. Introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, this design replaced the wheat ears of the earlier pennies. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a small but meaningful tribute. The composition of the 1980 penny remained the traditional bronze mixture of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This gave the coin a solid weight and a warm reddish tone when new. However, just 2 years later, the U.S. Mint would switch to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982 to save costs, making the 1980 penny one of the last true copper issues of its kind. Billions of pennies were struck in 1980 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with proof coins made in San Francisco. With such massive production numbers, most of these pennies remain common today, but as always in coin collecting, the rarest varieties, the highest grades, and the most striking errors can make all the difference. One of the most exciting things collectors look for are doubled die varieties. These errors occur when the coin die receives a misaligned impression, causing the inscriptions or date to appear doubled. Even slight doubling can greatly increase the value of a penny, and a strong doubled die from 1980 would be an incredible find. Another factor that excites collectors is the condition of the coin. Circulated examples are usually worth just 1 cent, but uncirculated or proof coins preserved in perfect condition are highly desirable. Their original shine, sharp strike, and lack of wear make them standout pieces in any collection. Proof coins from San Francisco, struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, showcase the Lincoln design with extraordinary clarity. These coins often display deep mirrored fields and frosted details, creating a contrast that makes them especially beautiful to collectors. Grading services play an important role in determining a coin's value. Using a scale from 1 to 70, experts at companies like PCGS and NGC assign grades that reflect a coin's condition. A 1980 penny graded at the very top of this scale is far rarer than most examples and can be worth much more than anyone would expect for a simple cent. The Lincoln penny of 1980 also represents an era of economic change in the United States. Inflation was on the rise, and the purchasing power of the penny was declining. Yet despite its small face value, the coin still carried great symbolic meaning and continues to hold collector interest to this day. Collectors often share stories of discovering valuable pennies in pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections. The 1980 penny is no exception. That thrill of finding a coin worth far more than its denomination is one of the reasons people fall in love with numismatics. What makes the Lincoln penny so enduring is the combination of artistry and accessibility. Anyone can begin a coin collection with pennies, yet within those simple coins lie rare treasures and fascinating stories. The 1980 penny is a perfect reminder of this truth. The portrait of Lincoln designed by Brenner remains timeless. His image, carefully engraved into each coin, represents leadership and integrity. Holding a penny from 1980 means holding a small reminder of one of America's greatest presidents. The reverse side, with Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial, connects the coin to a national monument that millions of Americans have visited in person. This design reminds people of the nation's respect and honor for Lincoln's contributions. Errors and varieties make the 1980 penny even more interesting. From off-center strikes to clipped planchets, the possibilities for rare mistakes are endless. Each error transforms an ordinary coin into a unique collectible that sparks curiosity and demand. The copper composition of the 1980 penny also gives it additional appeal. As copper prices have risen, older pennies containing real copper have become more desirable. This adds another layer of value beyond the numismatic interest. searching for high-grade 1980 pennies has become a popular pastime for collectors. Coin roll hunting, in particular, allows enthusiasts to comb through boxes of pennies from banks in hopes of discovering pristine or rare examples. The market for these coins shows how even the smallest denomination can inspire intense competition among collectors. At auctions, rare or high-grade examples of 1980 pennies have achieved impressive prices, proving that condition and rarity are what truly drive value. For beginners in coin collecting, the 1980 penny provides an excellent starting point. It teaches the basics of mint marks, grading, and varieties, while also offering the excitement of potential discoveries. It's a coin that bridges history with the present. Lincoln cents are also deeply personal. Many people can remember finding pennies as children, saving them in jars, or keeping certain years for sentimental reasons. The 1980 penny taps into those memories while also holding serious potential for collectors. In addition to history and value, the 1980 penny represents the transition period in U.S. coinage. Within just 2 years, the long-standing copper composition would disappear, making this coin part of the closing chapter of a historic era. Collectors appreciate coins like the 1980 penny because they remind us that treasures don't always come in large, shiny packages. Sometimes, the most valuable items are hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in the most ordinary places. The journey of a penny from minting to circulation to collection is a fascinating story. A 1980 penny may have traveled across cities, through stores, and into countless hands before finally finding its way into a collector's possession. That journey adds to its charm. Numismatics is as much about discovery as it is about ownership. Examining the tiny details of a coin, spotting a doubled die, or recognizing a pristine strike gives collectors a sense of joy and accomplishment. The 1980 penny offers this thrill in abundance. The enduring popularity of the Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest coins can capture the imagination. Decades after their minting, coins like the 1980 penny continue to draw interest, showing that their legacy is far from over. And while billions were minted, the rarest and finest 1980 pennies have proven to be far more than simple change. They remind us that history, artistry, and rarity all combine to create incredible value. At its peak, one remarkable 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been valued at an astounding $100,000. Top 5. The year 1982 stands out as one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of the Lincoln 1-cent penny. While to most people a penny is just a small coin with little value, coin collectors know that the 1982 penny carries secrets and stories that make it one of the most complex modern issues ever released by the United States Mint. The reason this year became so special is because the U.S. Mint made a dramatic change to the composition of the penny. For decades, pennies had been struck from mostly copper, a metal that gave the coin its familiar weight and warm color. But by the early 1980s, the rising price of copper meant that the penny was actually costing more to make than its face value. In response, the Mint introduced a new type of penny in 1982. Instead of being made from 95% copper, the new version was created from copper-plated zinc. This new composition weighed less, looked almost the same, but completely changed the story of the coin. This switch, however, was not immediate, and as a result, both copper and zinc pennies were struck during the same year. This is what makes the 1982 penny so interesting. Collectors today search through their coins to find out whether they have the older copper version or the newer zinc version. To the eye, they look almost identical, but in the hand, the weight gives them away. A copper penny weighs 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs only 2.5 grams. On the obverse, the design remained unchanged, still showing the timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, Lincoln's profile had already been a part of American coinage for over 70 years by 1982. His image, along with the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, continued to remind people of the history and heritage behind this small coin. The reverse of the 1982 penny displayed Frank Isparo's design of the Lincoln Memorial, a design used since 1959. This view of the great monument in Washington, D.C., not only honored Lincoln's legacy but also connected the coin to a very patriotic symbol of American history. But 1982 introduced another twist. The date on the coin came in two different styles: large date and small date. To the untrained eye, the difference is subtle, but for coin collectors, it makes all the difference in identifying the many varieties from this year. The large date numbers appear thicker and more prominent, while the small date versions look slimmer and more delicate. When you add up all these factors, 1982 produced an astonishing number of varieties. There are copper large date, copper small date, zinc large date, zinc small date, and these came from both Philadelphia and Denver. Plus, proof coins from San Francisco added yet another layer of complexity. In total, there are at least 7 recognized varieties of the 1982 penny, and this is what makes the year so thrilling for collectors. It's like a puzzle waiting to be solved, with each variety having its own story and level of rarity. The most famous and valuable among them is the 1982 D small date copper penny. For years, collectors debated whether it even existed, until a few were finally discovered. These rare coins are so scarce that they can command massive prices in the coin market. Even aside from the extremely rare varieties, 1982 pennies are fun to collect because they represent the end of an era. After this year, nearly all pennies were struck from copper-plated zinc, meaning that the traditional heavy copper penny became a thing of the past. That transition makes 1982 a historic year in U.S. coinage. Collectors also enjoy testing their coins to see whether they are copper or zinc. Many use simple digital scales, while others try the ring test, since copper coins produce a higher pitched sound when dropped compared to the dull thud of zinc coins. These small differences make the hunt even more exciting. The 1982 penny is also important because it shows how even small changes in coin production can have lasting effects. A change in metal may not seem dramatic, but it ended up creating one of the most diverse and collectible years for the Lincoln cent over the decades. Collectors have learned to pay close attention to the condition of their 1982 pennies. Coins in mint state, with sharp details and original luster, always command more value than those that have circulated heavily. A high-grade 1982 penny, especially one of the scarcer varieties, is truly a prize. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have certified many of these coins, and their labels help collectors know whether they are holding one of the rare varieties or a more common version. This adds to the excitement, as a penny worth only 1 cent in circulation can suddenly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The legacy of the Lincoln penny also plays a role in the fascination with the 1982 issue. Since 1909, this coin has been part of everyday life in America. Children collected them, families saved them in jars, and generations grew up with Lincoln's profile in their hands. To think that a small change in 1982 could make some of these coins incredibly valuable adds a thrilling twist to the story. The small date varieties are especially intriguing. Collectors love to study the shapes of the numbers in the date, using magnifying glasses to make sure they can distinguish between small and large date examples. The fact that something so small can determine whether a coin is common or rare is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. The proof versions from the San Francisco Mint in 1982 also carry beauty and value. These coins were specially struck for collectors, with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces that highlight every detail of the design. They remain a favorite among those who love the artistry of coinage. Errors from 1982 also capture attention. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or even a transitional error where the wrong metal was used, these mistakes make coins from this year even more desirable. Every time a new error is discovered, it sparks fresh interest among numismatists. Beyond the technical details, the 1982 penny represents change. It marks the shift from traditional copper to modern zinc, from an old way of minting to a new economic reality. That transition is frozen in these coins, making them more than just money, they are pieces of history. For collectors, owning a 1982 penny is like holding a piece of that story. Whether it's a copper coin that feels heavy in the hand or a zinc coin that represents the new standard, each one tells part of the narrative of American coinage. Over time, the value of these coins has continued to rise, especially for the rare varieties in pristine condition. As more collectors learn about the importance of 1982, the demand only grows, and the coins become even harder to find in high quality. The thrill of searching through rolls of pennies or jars of change remains alive today because of coins like the 1982 penny. Anyone could stumble upon one of the rare varieties without even realizing it, and that possibility keeps the hunt exciting for people all around the world. It is incredible to think that such a small coin could hide such big secrets. The 1982 penny shows that rarity is not always about age, it can also be about transition, variety, and careful observation. Every collector knows the joy of finding something unexpected, and with the 1982 penny, that joy is multiplied by the sheer number of possibilities this single year provides. This coin is living proof that the most ordinary object in your pocket could turn out to be extraordinary. It's a reminder that history and value often hide in plain sight, waiting for those who take the time to look closely. And for the most remarkable discoveries, the Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1982 has reached a value of an astonishing $90,000.